I'll watch some TV. It'll help me to relax.
Welcome back to the Ren and Stimpy recap. Last week we talked about farmhands, and today we are taking a look at magical golden singing cheeses.
And with these hands, I hold the fate of millions.
I like this title card. It has a nice presentation with the text being on the cheese, and I also like the imagery overall. Then the music fits as well, all around just good. So right off the bat, with the very little knowledge I have of the episode, is this a storybook episode? I mean, it doesn't have the intro with Stimpy reading himself a bedtime story, but I know it's an episode that takes place in a different time with other versions of Ren and Stimpy.
Renwaldo and Stimpleton, sons of the dirt smith, kept house together.
The two are starving to death, as Stimpleton tells us that they haven't had any food since the last crusade. Renwaldo pulls the family tick off himself and tells Stimpleton to go trade it for some food. He doesn't say tick, but I really can't hear the word he uses for it, so I'm just gonna call it a tick, because I think that's what it is.
I'll guard it like it was my own brain. So Stimpleton began his...
I really like that shot. It's once again one of those shots where only one of them are moving, which just makes it look so good in my opinion. We get a montage of Stimpy going on his quest to find food.
as well as Jan.
He stops in front of this man-eating village idiot who's stuck in one of these medieval things. I think they're called stocks. And Stimpleton walks up to him anyway.
Halt! Who goes there? Who dares disturb the man-eating village idiot?
Stimpleton greets him, and we get some medieval lore, with Stimpleton being the how do you say that word? The illegitimate son of a dirtsmith. He tells him that he wants to trade his tick for food, and the idiot gets excited.
Good clarity, well-developed thorax.
He eats the bug, but then when Stimpleton asks for his food, he confesses that he has no food to trade, but he says he has something better.
Magical, golden, singing cheeses!
How is that not food, though? Stimpleton, of course, wants to take them, but the idiot says that only the most idiotic of idiots can possess his magical cheeses. So now Stimpleton has to prove his stupidity, and if he can't...
I shall eat thee!
Get it?
Stimpleton kicks himself in the eye, which impressed the idiot, who then does one of the most painful things I've ever seen in a cartoon. I can see why Random Lad warned me about the gross out and gore in this episode, because I am not liking this one bit. After the fool is done squeezing the lemon in his wound, he starts salting it.
That's nothing.
Stimpleton licks a frozen tree, and his tongue gets stuck before he pulls it off. That's not too bad, actually. We saw that like 3 episodes ago. I'm kind of immune.
Indeed, thou dost possess a great wealth of ignorance. But watchest thou this?
So the idiot pulls himself out of the stock, puts gas into his car before driving away with the thing still in, and then exploding, and then he gets back into the stock.
quite moronic. But feasteth thine eyes upon this.
Stimpleton jumps into the royal pig pen with corn and gets absolutely mauled by this monster pig, which terrifies the fool who surrenders.
Truly unsurpassed.
Oh, go on.
Stimpleton leaves with the cheeses as the idiot literally dies from stupidity. We cut back to Ren Waldo, who I totally forgot was in this episode. As Stimpleton returns home, Ren Waldo runs up on him and snatches the magical golden singing cheeses and then gets ready to eat them.
Dare you bring me these unripened cheeses? Oh, here there, and bury them in the stable neath the manger.
Ren Waldo says some words I don't understand, but I do get that he wants Stimpleton to go prepare the cheeses in some gross way, so Ren Waldo can eat them. Okay, he wanted Stimpleton to just bury them, so to like do that thing, you know, I don't know the word, but when you have them be somewhere for a very long time so they get good or whatever. My English vocabulary is really small. The ground breaks and Stimpy falls down into the underground with the poor Cyclops who got hit in the head with the pointy part of a shovel. Like, ouch.
Who dares dig a hole in my roof?
Stimpleton introduces himself and tries to hide the cheese when the ogre asks how he is gonna be compensated. But he notices the cheeses anyway and wants them.
These are not cheese. These are shoes.
Stimpleton starts running around and falls on his head, which actually looked very funny. Sadly, I cannot show it because I can't show more than 7 seconds of the episode, so thank you for that, Viacom. After the ogre puts the cheeses on his feet, Stimpleton climbs out and has a scared look on his face as we get a time card taking us to 6 months later when the two once again are starving.
Go yonder to the stable and fetch the cheeses. And be quick about it, lest I shall surely.
We see that the cheeses are still on the ogre's feet. Great. Stimpy goes down here again and tries to steal them. I got no words. Like, I thought we left this stuff in season 2. That might have been the single most disgusting thing in the whole show. I think it's worse than Mad Dog Hoek. The ogre, of course, wakes up from this and screams in pain. I feel really bad for him. Stimpleton once again introduces himself and tells the ogre that he and Ren Waldo are starving and have come to eat his shoes. The ogre says he has grown quite attached to them and is surprisingly chill about the whole toe stabbing thing. I would be fuming.
I'll let you have them for your spleen.
I don't know if I have anything.
Stimpleton pulls out his kidney and trades it, getting 3 kidney stones, a tapeworm, and the ogre's gallbladder in exchange. Oh no, not in exchange, in change. Now Stimpleton finally can return home with the stinking cheeses.
To Renwaldo.
Ren is really happy, seeing it's good cheese, the stinkiest cheese ever, and then the two each take a bite, which prompts some weird stuff to start happening.
After the first bite.
So the cheeses turn back to their original forms, which is milk curd princesses. Stimpy makes a fantastic face in this scene.
They were forced to marry the princesses, lived happily ever after, and starved to death.
And that's how the episode ends. It was an episode, for sure. I did not like this one. The thing is, the whole episode was either stuff I didn't care for, or stuff I actively hated. Like, at least in an episode like The Great Outdoors, the terrible stuff was matched by some good stuff, but here there is nothing to make up for the toe scene and the arm scratching. Those two scenes ruin the whole episode, since there is really nothing I liked here. Or that is too harsh, but it's like, the things I liked were faces and like Stimpy falling over, and I'm not coming back to an episode with the character literally scratching off their own skin with cheese grater just so I can see Stimpy fall over and giggle. Like, it wasn't that funny. Fun fact, of course this was a leftover from Spumco that John K worked on, who could have guessed. It was actually written all the way back for season 1 but was rejected, which good call. Apparently even John K admitted that the game's version was mostly the same, just saying that the pacing would have been faster in his version, which, you know, the pacing was the least of this episode's problems. But yeah, it was kind of boring, so that might have helped it, but if John K wrote the toe scene, which seems very much on character, it's like there was no salvaging this. All in all, not a good episode. Join me next week where we are taking a look at A Hard Day's Luck.
Goodbye, folks.